All right, how you doing, folks? I've been trying to figure out how I can get you guys into doing some graphics in C++ as soon as possible. So I'm want to show you an example of an OpenGL application and see if you can even give you a chance to dive in and do something with the code in a little bit. First thing I want to do in this video is just kind of explain some of the things that are new here, starting with the idea of classes. So and header files. So what you'll notice for this project, and let me see, let me just run and show you what it does at this point. I'm going to hit F5. So this is a project that just draws a whole bunch of points across the screen, and they get bigger as they go across. And we're going to work on modifying it later on, but in this video, like I said, I just want to get us started on because there's a lot of new stuff going on in here. Just looking at how classes work. So you'll notice, one of the things you'll notice here, first of all, right off, is that there are 3 source files instead of just one. So you can have multiple source files in a project. And then another thing you'll see here is we're used to seeing this hashtag include preprocessor directive. But here we've got we've got define and if def and else and end if, all this other stuff. We're not going to worry too much about all those other directives at this point, but I do want to just point out real quick one of the differences. So typically what we've seen so far with these includes is that you'll see include and then open bracket and a single word like IOStream and then a closing bracket. And here what we're seeing is a bracket and then Windows and .h and closing brackets. So this is kind of a convention carried over from C. And let's see. So, and basically, basically, I mean, C programs will pretty much compile okay in here. I haven't tried programming a totally C program in here, but back when I was first doing C++, you could use a C++ compiler to compile raw C code, and I think that might even still be the case. But anyway, this .h is a carryover from the C conventions. So all the header files had .h. So the idea is these header files are things that you can actually write yourself, and these, in fact, these this GL window.h with the quotes around it, the quotes are basically saying that this .h file is a local file, and we can actually go in and open it up. So I'm going to say file open include GL window.h right there. Okay, so we can open it and look at what's in it. All right. And basically what it contains is, it might contain some other include, it might include some other files just because it needs to have them set up. I'm going to skip that first declaration, but see this class GL window. So this might, if you've worked in with Java before, or maybe even from the C# projects that we've done earlier, this might look a little bit familiar. The idea that you're defining a class GL window. Basically, this is making another type, like string is a type and vector is a type. We're making a GL window type. And these are all the different methods that a GL window can do. Okay, it can, there's a create, a destroy, process events, and so on. And this is the, um, in this section over here is all the, well, no, this is a method here, but these are methods here. But all this stuff is data that a GL window object can have. So the idea is, again, like I said, with these methods, I think I have. Remember when we looked at string tester, we did string tester. We had this string type, and we created, like for example, we created all these different string objects, right? One of them we created was called phrase, and then because phrase is of type string, we have all these different things we can do with it. We can and specifically we have these methods we can call on it, like phrase size, phrase find, right? There's like a phrase erase. So there are these different methods that we can call on phrase because it's of type string. So in this random points program, we're defining ourselves a type called GL window that has all these different methods. Okay, and it has this information inside of it. So this is the declaration of the methods. Generally, the methods are defined in the glwindow.cpp, and notice glwindow.cpp includes this file, glwindow.h. And basically what this means, this include, is that before the actual compilation, everything that's in this header file gets pulled in to this file, so that it all gets looked at together. So we had, for example, here we had this Boolean create, and right here we're saying these are the steps that we have to take to perform create. Okay, so this is how you do the create function. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to get into this GL window class too much because I don't really understand it a whole lot at this point. The thing I thought would be cool for us to look at, this has to do with WGL stuff. If you Google WGL, they usually pronounce it wiggle. It's a special set of Windows callbacks and stuff that you can use for using OpenGL on Windows. But here we have example. So we have this example in example.h. We're declaring this example class, okay, and it has these methods: init, prepare, render, shutdown, on resize, and this information of a vector of vertices and a vertex buffer. Okay, this GLUint is just a type defined by OpenGL. So and basically it's because they want to make sure that an unsigned int is always the same size when you move from one compiler to another. So that's not if you just used unsigned int, the standard C one, it might actually not be the same size if you change compilers or machines or compilers. So this is the OpenGL way of making sure that it's going to stay the same size. So what? So and then here's where all those things are defined. So example on that. And again, the ultimate idea is that just like you went in and in string tester, define your string, right? Your string phrase equals this, and then you could go in and use all these different methods on phrase. Well, in the same way, once you've defined what an example object is, or a GL window object is, then here in main, for example, you can go in and create a GL window object called program window. You can declare a GL window object called program window, an example object called example, and you can call whatever methods are defined on GL in the GL window class. You can call those on the program window object, and whatever and the same thing with the example object. So we defined this method called init. Right here we declare it init, boolean init, and here we define it. Okay, so it can return a false or a true. We can use it in main. Okay, so so that's the idea of classes. It's basically that you can define your own types. And in the next video, I'll start talking a little bit about the OpenGL that's going on here, and then we'll see how we can go in and muck with this code a little bit.